Alrighty, hey everybody. It is Thursday morning. I'm just returning from a walk where I retrieved the last of the paper towels and rags and an oil soaking mat that I need to complete my third member swap. I got all my parts, tools, products, everything I need to do it. So I'm doing it today. And it's funny, I have been wrenching on my own vehicles for over 40 years, well over 40 years. And I still, even when I'm gonna do a procedure that I've done many, many times before, which I've done this 3 times for other reasons, I still get butterflies. It's crazy that I get butterflies after all this time. But I think it's because I care about the job I do. I want to do it really right and to the best of my ability. So there you go. Even though I'm an old dog, I still get nervous doing some of this stuff. So for any of you beginning mechanics who get really nervous, don't worry about it. Kind of goes with the terrain. It just does, for some of us anyway. So one of the kind of pains in the butt thing for anybody who has a smaller liveaboard rig can attest to, when you have to make repairs, a lot of times you don't have room anywhere in your living space for all the parts. And so yeah, so this is what my passenger seat looks like, has for the last week and a half. Drive shafts, axle shafts, parts, all kinds of stuff. Third member is sitting in that seat now. So you give up living space, but once it's done, you get it back. So something I feel really strongly about as someone who works and repairs their rig in the public domain, be it on a public parking lot or street or what have you, if I'm doing something that has the potential to be disastrously messy, then I take a lot of precautions to mitigate that. Like, I got this oil absorbing pad that I'm going to have under this work today. I've got a giant tub for when I crack this thing open, I'll catch all the oil. This sort of thing I feel is really important for us people who live and work on our vehicles on the road, so we can be good neighbors to the folks around, and so that we elevate that relationship and they don't have a problem with us. I mean, I just had a discussion with a guy who lives right across the driveway from where I parked right now, and I've had a good relationship with him and the neighbors here every year since I come to Ballard. So I plan on keeping it that way by working clean. So for those of you who are not mechanics, don't know anything about old trucks and stuff, this is what's called a third member. This entire assembly, you can see the bolts there, unbolts, carries the ring and pinion spider gears, comes out of this axle housing. So that's what I'm removing today and throwing my backup third member in that I saved when I took it out originally. So hey, good call. This is the original third member. It came in the truck. There was nothing wrong with it except that it leaked. And so I had a Pro one built because I wanted to never have to do anything with it again the rest of my life. And within 10,000 miles, the Pro built one was leaking. So putting this bad boy back in, and I'll just live with a little bit of a leak. Well, so this is how an intact ring gear attached to the third member looks. You see these guys? 2 bolts with retaining clips all the way around the ring gear. Check this action out. Sheared off, gone, no longer attached to the ring gear. That's what happened. Look at this. This is what we call carnage. Broken, sheared bolts, retainer clips just failed. I don't know what in the world happened in there, but it was bad. I have a lot of cleaning in that axle housing to do. Boy, oh boy. No question that's what was wrong. All right. All the mating surfaces are clean. The hardware has been cleaned and lubricated. I got the axle housing totally cleaned out. No more sparklies, no more broken bits and pieces. Boy, there was a lot. They're owie, they poked me. And we are ready to put in the original third member back in there, baby. But first, I'm gonna drink some water, take a little breaky poo. Mechanics need breaks. Right. The original third member is reinstalled. Couldn't exactly show you video of that because when you're using anaerobic sealer, it's kind of time sensitive. You got to be on it so that it doesn't solidify quickly and actually shim the gearbox the way you don't want it to. So you got to get on it. So I didn't think to set up the tripod for that. I really didn't want to be distracted. I take this stuff really seriously, and I want to get it right the first time. So anyway, she's in. Now I just got to connect drive shafts. Tomorrow morning I can put in gear oil, and yeah, because everything will be cured by then. And I should be off and running again. Thank you everybody for your encouragement, and thank you Karen for helping me financially with this repair. Oh boy, you really made a huge difference. Alrighty, she's totally back together again. Driveline's connected, axle shafts are in. I just have to let that sealer cure, put gear oil in, and we go testing. Now I have to clean up all the tools and myself. A few cuts and owies. Standard stuff. Feels so nice to be walking, be out of my coveralls, in street clothes, knowing it's all buttoned up. And I'll put that gear oil in, give her a good testing tomorrow. I'll be sure and do that before I wrap this vid, so that can be the hopeful conclusion. But for now, I'm ready for an evening. Nice walk, a little walk time, and a bite, and then I'm gonna chill. All right, people, we're rolling. 2-wheel drive, and we're using that rear axle. Oh, 2 weeks. It's a long time to be down for a Nomad. I know it could have been a lot worse. So today's test driving, running errands, and keeping track of that rear end. Looking good so far. Okay, let's wrap this video up. It's a bit of a long one. So I've driven about 15 miles all over town, different errands, different speeds, nothing highway yet. And no leaks, nothing yet. Everything's working beautiful. And it's a dramatic contrast from how the driveline felt before putting in the original third member yesterday. A couple months ago in San Francisco, I was having weird ping ting sounds. My driveline felt kind of weird, felt kind of mushy. My clutch, I kept seeing if I needed to adjust my clutch. Everything was fine. My U-joints were fine. Couldn't figure it out. I think I now know where the slop was coming into the system as those ring gear bolts were shearing off and everything was getting sloppier back there in the rear axle. Because now everything's crisp and smooth, just like it always was before. So, yeah. And my research is suggesting that if the ring gear bolts are over torqued upon assembly or install, then that can cause them to shear. So, who knows? All I know is I've got my original third member in there and it's working great so far. So, keeping our fingers crossed, it stays that way. Got a good road test to Olympia next week. That'll be a first highway miles. So, everything's looking great though. And, so nice to have my wheels again. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me and watch this whole vid, for the whole sordid tale. And again, thank you, Karen, for helping get me over the finish line on this repair and not breaking my bank. Boy, that's a huge deal. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who offered support. The neighbors where I was parked, everybody was really cool. So anyway, wishing you all a great day and a great weekend.